Yeah, I think so. It's better. It's too cold. Stay outside. Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you, Dmytro, for coming all the way here, for accepting my invitation on this day for the diplomatic days. We speak to each other very frequently, by the way, at the meeting of the Council of the European Union, in the corridors, at international forums, and I was myself in Kiev with the other EU minister at the opening at the beginning of October, and no longer than a few weeks ago, you were here with your President Zelensky. So one could ask, why inviting you again today? Well, there are, by the way, many reasons, and I will come back to it, but in fact, there is no better day than this 8th of November, as the European Commission is due to release its progress report paving the way for your status as a candidate member of the European Union. And as far as we know, the Commission will give a positive signal for Ukraine. And indeed, we are impressed by the progress you have been able to achieve while a war is waging in your country. Of course, there are still some milestones to reach, and as upcoming presidency, Belgium will stand with you in accompanying your country, making its first steps in staging the negotiating process. So it's very symbolic to have you here today, and at a time when all eyes also are on the Middle East, and rightly so, because what is going there is a human tragedy. But the conflict in the Middle East cannot make us forget the others, the war that has now lasted more than a year and a half on our European continent. The upsurge in violence, the destruction, the suffering of innocent civilians, including too many children, the deaths and the terrible images leave no one indifferent. Kiev is only 2,000 away from Brussels. We must not lose sight on the war of Ukraine. We must continue to reiterate our determination to support you. Because your fight, dear Dmytro, the fight of our Ukrainian friends is also our fight. A fight for our shared values, for democracy and your European aspirations. Also a fight for the respect of international law. We therefore have no double standards. In the Middle East, in Ukraine, elsewhere in the world, Belgium will always play the card of international law. I had the opportunity to say this to our ambassadors on Monday at the kick-off the diplomatic days, and I would like to reiterate it now in front of you, Dmytro. Belgium takes its responsibilities since the first day of the invasion. Our country was ready to help. We also took in thousands of refugees, and our country remains committed to supporting Ukraine in all areas: political, diplomatic, legal, economic, and military. Belgium recently announced a new Ukraine fund of 1.7 billion euros, of which half is for military support and half will go to civilian support. Here we have pioneering, using windfall profits on Russian frozen assets. The tax proceeds are used to support Ukraine. Belgium is proud also to participating in the 5th F-16 coalition, which is another strong signal of our continuous support to Ukraine. And Belgium will train pilots and technicians and maintain the F-16 aircraft, and the government is also prepared to supply F-16 fighters aircraft as from 2025. Belgium and Ukraine are more united, united for a just peace, for accountability, and working for the EU membership path. In a few minutes, Dmytro, we will be speaking to our ambassadors about Ukraine's needs, priorities and expectations in the face of Russia's continued full-scale invasion. Ukraine can count on Belgium today, tomorrow, during our EU presidency and beyond. And I give you now the floor, and I thank you once again, Minister Dmytro, for accepting my invitation and for joining us in Brussels today for this diplomatic day. Thank you very much. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Aja. I am truly honored to be a guest of honor at your ambassadors' conference, and I'm looking forward to an engagement with heads of your diplomatic missions abroad. And the reason why I accepted this invitation, and you know that, is first of all because Ukraine deeply appreciates everything Belgium has done since the beginning of the large-scale invasion. And second, because since your appointment as foreign minister, we have become reliable colleagues and partners, and everything we talk, we are always candid with each other, and everything that we agree on is being implemented. These are the qualities which are of utmost importance in diplomacy, and I appreciate this relationship. You mentioned all of the areas where Belgium is helping Ukraine, and I will not repeat on that, just will reiterate our gratitude. But I will mention that we spent a good part of our conversation, of our negotiations today, to align fully on the sequence of events during the upcoming presidency of Belgium in the European Union. We didn't have to discuss whether Ukraine will or will not be a priority for the Belgian chairmanship. I heard a clear message that Belgium understands the historic mission and the historic responsibility related to Ukraine in the course of its presidency. As you rightly mentioned, Belgium, as presidency, will stage the setting for negotiating process for accession talks. And we discussed with Aja how we are going to move towards these very important decisions that will have to be taken in the course of the Belgian presidency. I appreciate the understanding of what needs to be done and the readiness to work in a tight schedule. Another big issue that we are talking about is, of course, use of Russian frozen assets to recover Ukraine. I appreciate the fact that Belgium is seriously focused on helping on recovery of our country. My president discussed this issue with your prime minister when he was here in Brussels. Belgium set a precedent, a very good precedent, on the windfall proceeds. Now we need a broader legal framework adopted at the level of the European Union to allow all member states who are in a possession of Russian sovereign assets to use them in a legally compatible way for the purpose of recovery of Ukraine. And basically the message is simple: Russia must pay. Russia caused damage, Russia must pay. I emphasized this point yesterday during my meetings at the European Commission, and given the leading role of Belgium on this matter, we will also coordinate closely on the introduction of this broad legal framework across the European Union that will allow other countries to use not only taxes on profits, taxes on revenues, but we also believe, and it is our position, that revenues from the Russian assets should be used respectively, and a more complicated issue, but we are also of the opinion that that we should find a legal way to use assets themselves. We exchange we exchange some ideas on the cultural cooperation between Ukraine and Belgium, and we will be working on that goal as well. But, yesterday I was at the European Commission. I started my morning with online participation in the meeting of G7 foreign ministers. I am continuing with the main element of my program, the meeting with my fellow colleague. And in every meeting I was, whether in person or online, I hear very clear and unequivocal message that whatever happens in the world, supporting Ukraine remains a priority. Be it the European Commission or G7 foreign ministers or foreign minister of Belgium, we are all aligned on this. It doesn't mean that we are ignoring other problems that need to be addressed, and the war in the Middle East is definitely something that requires immediate attention and effort. But the message is out and it's very clear. Whatever happens, supporting Ukraine, standing by Ukraine remains a priority for our partners. And so it is for us as well. We will be trying to help as much as we can to address other challenges the world is facing, but we remain focused on winning the war. And so we will, with the committed and sustainable support of our friends and partners. Thank you.
And the partner.